Once upon a time, deep in the heart of an African forest, there lived a mermaid named Nyarai. She resided in the vast, sparkling waters of the Mazu River, a place hidden from human eyes. Nyarai was breathtaking, with her long, shimmering tail and radiant smile, but her heart was filled with longing. Every day, she would swim to the riverbank, resting her arms on the rocks, watching as the farmers and their families returned home from the fields. The women's laughter echoed through the trees, and the children danced as they helped their mothers carry baskets full of produce. Nyarai's eyes would light up when she saw the beautiful daughters of the village, their dark skin glowing under the sun, and their colorful dresses swaying with the breeze. The sight of the men working the fields with strength and purpose filled her with curiosity. "I wish I could experience this life, even for just a day," she would whisper to herself, dreaming of what it would feel like to walk on two legs, to dance under the sun, and to laugh with friends. One starry night, as she sat gazing longingly at the distant village, a strange sound caught her attention. From the shadows of the forest emerged an old witch, her staff tapping the earth as she walked. Nyarai's heart pounded with both fear and excitement. The witch, sensing the mermaid's desire, smiled and approached her. "Why do you sit here every night, gazing at the village with such longing in your eyes?" asked the old woman. Nyarai, surprised that the witch could see her, replied, "I dream of being human, just for a short while. I want to walk among them, feel the earth beneath my feet, and experience the life they live." The witch cackled softly. "That is a wish I can grant. But listen carefully, young mermaid. For 7 days, you shall live as a human. But you must return to the river before sunset each day. Fail to return, and you will remain human forever, without the power to come back to your true form." Nyarai's heart leapt with joy. 7 days. She could hardly contain her excitement. Thank you," she cried. "I will return before sunset, I promise." The witch waved her hand, and with a flash of light, Nyarai's tail transformed into a pair of long, graceful legs. Her golden hair flowed down to her waist, her skin dark and smooth, and her eyes a deep, enchanting blue. Her beauty was unlike anything the villagers had ever seen. With a final warning from the witch, the mermaid's wish was granted. The first morning of her 7 days arrived. As the sun rose, Nyarai stood at the bank of the river, her heart racing with anticipation. She touched the earth beneath her feet and marveled at how soft and cool it felt. She couldn't wait to explore the village she had admired from afar. As Nyarai made her way toward the village, the villagers began to stir, preparing for another day in the fields. The moment they laid eyes on her, they were struck by her beauty. Whispers spread quickly, no one had ever seen a woman so stunning. Her long legs carried her gracefully through the village, her broad hips swaying with each step, and her golden hair glistened in the sunlight. Her voice, when she spoke, was like a song, and the villagers were captivated by her presence. Nyarai spent her first day wandering the village, visiting the bustling marketplace where women sold fruits and vegetables. She watched the children play by the riverbank and listened to the village elders share stories of the past. Every sight, every sound was a new discovery, and she cherished each moment. As the day drew to a close, Nyarai felt a tug in her heart, reminding her of the witch's warning. She hurried back to the river, her mind racing with thoughts of the adventures she could have the next day. She dipped into the water just as the last rays of the sun disappeared behind the horizon, and her legs transformed back into a tail. For the next 6 days, Nyarai explored the village, making friends with the women and children, laughing, dancing, and even helping in the fields. She cherished each moment, but always returned to the river before the sun set. But as her final day approached, Nyarai's heart grew heavy. She knew that after the seventh day, her time as a human would come to an end, and she would return to her life in the river. Though her spirit was joyful, she couldn't shake the sadness that lingered in her heart. As the seventh day came to an end, Nyarai knew it would be her last time experiencing the world as a human. The villagers were gathered for a celebration, and the air was filled with music and laughter. Nyarai, feeling the weight of her final moments, decided to let go of her worries and danced as she had never danced before. Her long golden hair swirled around her, her hips swayed gracefully, and her laughter rang out like the sweetest melody. The young maidens of the village joined her, their feet pounding the earth in rhythm. Nyarai's beauty and joy captivated everyone around her, but one pair of eyes never left her. The prince of the village, a tall and striking man adorned in royal garments, caught sight of Nyarai, and in that instant, his heart was lost to her. Her elegance, her laughter, and her radiant presence drew him in like no one ever had. The prince stood tall and called out in a commanding voice, "Stop dancing, everyone! Who is this maiden?" The music stopped, and all eyes turned to Nyarai. She froze, her heart pounding as the prince walked toward her, his eyes filled with admiration. Nyarai had never seen a man so handsome, so regal. His dark skin glowed under the fading sunlight, and his strong frame was adorned with gold and royal beads. Her heart skipped a beat, and for the first time, she felt the stirrings of love. She wanted to speak, to tell him her name, but no words came. She was speechless, lost in the moment as she gazed into his eyes. The prince smiled and said, "I praise the day you were born, for I have never seen such beauty in all my life." But as much as Nyarai's heart longed to stay, fear gripped her. The sun was setting, and she knew her time was up. If she did not return to the river soon, she would be trapped in her human form forever. Her eyes widened in panic, and without a word, she turned and ran toward the river. "Wait," the prince called out, but Nyarai did not stop. She ran as fast as her long legs would carry her, her golden hair flowing behind her like a stream of light. The prince, determined to find her, shouted to his guards, "After her! Do not let her escape!" 6 of his best guardsmen took off in pursuit, their feet pounding the earth as they chased her through the village. Nyarai could hear their footsteps behind her, and she pushed herself harder, her breath quickening as she neared the riverbank. The sky was painted with shades of orange and pink as the sun dipped lower on the horizon. She knew she had only moments to spare. With one last burst of energy, she reached the river, dove into the water, and with a splash, her legs transformed back into her shimmering tail. The guards arrived just in time to see the ripples on the water's surface. They looked around, confused, as there was no sign of the beautiful maiden they had been chasing. One of them knelt by the river, touching the water's edge. "She must have gone into the river, but there's no sign of her now," he said. The prince, who had followed closely behind, stared at the river, his heart heavy with longing and confusion. "Who was she?" he whispered, gazing into the water, hoping for a glimpse of the mysterious maiden. But Nyarai was already deep beneath the waves, her heart aching with both joy and sadness. She had experienced the love and beauty of the human world, but now she had to return to her life in the river. As she swam away, she knew that the memories of her 7 days would stay with her forever. And though the prince searched the riverbanks for days afterward, hoping to find her again, Nyarai never returned to the village. But sometimes, when the villagers gathered by the water's edge, they would hear a faint, sweet melody carried on the wind, as if the river itself was singing the story of the beautiful maiden who danced with joy and vanished with the setting sun. The tale of Nyarai, the mermaid who longed to live as a human, teaches the beauty of freedom and boundaries, Nyarai was granted freedom to explore life as a human, but with conditions. Her need to return to the river before sunset shows that even in freedom, we must respect boundaries and responsibilities. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more captivating tales of love, strength, and African culture. Thank you for your support.